Number 5. Peter, I'm sure you are aware of the movies Money as Debt. I have been in correspondence with director Paul Grignon, who has put forward an idea for a credit coin system. Have you reviewed this? I'll stop you there. No, I haven't, and I haven't seen the second Money as Debt. Credit coin system, I don't know what that is. There are lots of monetary reforms out there. I'll try to look into it. He continues, though, quote, also the person responded, at the end of this post, they posted an email, they posted an email responding, Paul responding to the Zeitgeist Movement. Here's what he had to say, quote, technological utopia where everyone is so prosperous we don't need to keep score with money. I don't buy that as the future. As the future we should be preparing ourselves for. It seems like dangerous escapism to me. Ask yourself who will decide where you will live and what you will have if you don't do so by earning it. This statement that he makes is a classic assessment that you tend to hear over and over again. He starts off with technological utopia. That word is nonsense. They use that as a derogatory term, as an end goal, as a fictional notion. Where everyone is so prosperous you don't need to keep score with money. I'm not even sure what he means by that. That's a strange statement. He says, I don't buy that as a future we should be preparing ourselves for. It seems like a dangerous escapism to me. Once again, it's one of those angles where they take in no information. They're not regarding technological creativity. They're not regarding technological unemployment. They're not regarding the development and application of a systems approach and the provability that cooperation is better for the human condition. They're not regarding the issues of property versus access and the management of the resources and the ramifications that has. And then he asks, ask yourself who will decide where you will live and what you will have if you don't do so by earning it. Well, in our current system, who decides what happens anyway? Your decision-making process is extremely limited. Society today is hyper-regimented. You're in very much a prison cell by the construction. It just comes from an angle that you can't see. So the whole idea of who decides, that's of course a classic one. Jacques has addressed that numerous times. No one decides anything. Decisions are arrived at. And the systems approach would have to compensate for possible scarcities, such as the most complex one, of course, which is living. The idea is not to have people just live in one static place. People will move around because they have no reason to stay in one place. I think that's a profound thing that people, of course, have a difficult time with because they're so used to being in one spot, going to one job. They have this value identification with this thing called the home, and it's a contrivance. So I'm kind of disappointed by the response he had, so it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't take anything we're saying seriously. He hasn't obviously considered. As far as the credit coin system, I can only assume that it might be similar to other things that have been denoted as far as monetary reform. Ellen Brown has a fairly brilliant description of monetary reform, but again, it's not the real problem. Monetary reform isn't going to change hardly anything. The system itself is still going to produce scarcity. It's still going to be based on exploitation and destruction and pollution and all the other things that go along with that.